Good morning. It's Saturday, day 21. I have just got up and, oh my word, I didn't wake up till 9 o'clock, which is unheard of. I'm gobsmacked, absolutely gobsmacked. But the thing is, whilst it's lovely to have a lie in, you feel like half the day's gone. So I had so many plans, as in I was going to get up early when Martin went to work and go for a run, because I want to do a longish run. So like, obviously that's delayed me now because that will take me at least an hour and a half. So yeah. Anyway, I've just had my morning coffee, my first coffee of the day. And I'm going to feed Piper, give him his breakfast because he's not had it, bless him. He'll be starving now because it's very late. And yeah, try and get myself woken up properly so that I can go for a run. Martin's on a long day at work today, so I'm on my own. Isaac's off, so he's at home. And I've got a few jobs to do. I've got a big pile of ironing to do. I do need to wrap some presents as well. I don't want to do them all today because I think I'll just lose the will to live if I do. But I will do some of them. And I might get a chance to do a bit of sewing later. Don't know what I'm going to sew though. I've been thinking about sewing some little star tree decorations and doing it as a little tutorial for you. So I'll have a think about that. I don't want to start anything sort of big, like a big project or anything, because I'll get all engrossed in it and then everything else will just go to the wall. So yeah. Right, I'm just going to carry on waking myself up and I'll catch up with you in a little while. Right, I've managed to get off the sofa, so I thought before I get ready to go for my run, we would just open advent calendars. I've just been watching a couple of vlogs while I've been enjoying my coffee, and I was watching Bex, and bless her, she's got the Fabric Godmother calendar. And do you remember earlier in Vlogmas I said that I was really regretting not getting it, and they had some left that they were selling off quite, not cheap, but much cheaper than their original price, and I was really tempted, and a few of you said, no, don't get it. Remember what happened the other year? And when I watched Beck's vlog, if you haven't watched it, go and watch it. It's hilarious. Her response to yesterday's is absolute class. Just for info, if you've not seen it, it was the charity donation. So they've done it again. This is, I think, is the third year running. They've included a charity donation in one of their boxes, one of their days. And it's just astounding that they're so tone deaf, because, I mean, charity donations are fantastic, absolutely, don't get me wrong, but I think people don't buy an advent calendar to sort of be told that one of their days is actually being donated to charity instead of being given to them. It's just really, well, the less said about that, the better. So when I watched it, I was chuckling to myself because her reaction was exactly how mine was the other year when I opened it. And yeah, anyway, we won't be getting that in one of my calendars, I don't think. But you never know. There could be a booby prize from one of the girls. We'll see anyway. But let's crack on and we'll open Jazz and Wow, which is a fabulous, fabulous calendar. I'm so pleased with it. I know lots of people are loving it and are all tempted to get one next year. And I think poor Bex is probably going to have to get cracking on next year's advent calendar as soon as Christmas is over. Anyway, today we have day 21. And I think we have, oh, are these buttons? Not quite sure. Oh, Bex, they're absolutely gorgeous. Look at those. Two little glittery bow buttons. They are beautiful. Do you know what? I just want to say something because I've got some resin stuff. I got a resin kit ages ago and I've been playing about with it. And you think doing this, when Beck shows how she does this on her vlog, you think it's really easy. Let me tell you, it's not. It's really, really tricky. It is a real skill to pour resin, to mix it, pour it, and get it. I mean, the only thing I've done is tried to make buttons and they were an absolute mess, honestly. They really were. Which were round buttons, that not a complicated shape like this. But to do something like this and get them absolutely perfect is a real skill. So don't let her make you think that doing this stuff is easy, because it's really not. They are beautiful, and all I see when I see these is putting them on a little cardigan for Layla. I just think they would be gorgeous for that. Thanks, Bex. They're lovely. Love those. We'll come to Kylie and the machine now, which we're day 21. I know a couple of you have said that they really liked yesterday's labels, and that's great. I'm glad you did. I didn't. I just thought they were rubbish for me, but that's fine. So day 21, it says we did a what? We did a pun for fun. Yee-haw. Oh, has this got like a country theme? You know, like a Taylor Swift type theme? A bit like the Fabric Godmother fabric, and they did some labels, didn't they? So it says so much fun. I like these. There we go. Redeemed herself today. They're really cute. I like those. Yeah. Nice. I like those. Right. And then we'll go to my gorgeous Northern Soul sisters. I think it's Ruan's turn today. Oh, I've got 2 gifts left. That's just rubbish. This needs to carry on every day for the rest of the year. Oh no, that's day 23. That's not right. Hang on. Wait a minute. So, day 21. This is really heavy. It feels like a jar of jam. It is. You never know though, it might be. Or it may be a candle or something like that. Let's see. It is the candle. It's definitely not jam. I love my candles. I really do. Oh, that's lovely. So it says, bow down, witches. I love it. I love it. Oh, it's gorgeous. I wish you could smell it. I don't know what flavour it is. I always say flavour rather than scent because it just seems to make more sense to me. What flavour is it? I can't read it. Even with my glasses on, I can't read that. Does it say on the bottom? Halloween slogan candle. Oh, it's just brilliant. I love it. There. Does it say amber wood and musk? I can read it in my camera, but I can't read it. Otherwise, it's really nice. Lovely. Thank you so much. Really appreciate that. Right. I can't put off this run any longer, can I? I'm aiming to do 7 miles today. I think last week I did 4.5, 5, something like that. No, I didn't. I did 2, didn't I? Because I did it on the way back from the gym and nearly died. And that's the only run I've done this week, which is why I thought I'm not going to go to the gym today. I thought I need to run again because I want to try and balance my time between my exercise time between gym and strength training plus the cardio. So I am going to do a run today because I've only done 2-mile run this week, which was my cool down run after the gym. It's a little bit breezy out there. Don't like the wind because it's hard running in wind, but I don't mind rain or snow. I love running in the snow. It's great fun. But I don't like running when it's windy, but it's not really, really windy. I think it's just a little bit gusty every now and again. So we'll be okay. So we'll see how we get on. That's the aim, 7 miles. But until I start running, I don't know how I feel. So I need to sort of set off and then gauge it first, if that makes sense. So we'll see how we get on anyway. Like I'm going on a night out, don't I? I'm not at all. I just decided to make an effort for today because it's the weekend. Anyway, I have been for my run and I have had a shower. I've put some washing in. I have done a mountain of ironing, so I am completely up to date, which is fantastic. I have got dressed after my shower and yeah, I'm wearing my Atelier brunette La Blouse, I think it is, in this gorgeous viscose from Rainbow Fabrics that I've had ages. And yeah, it's gorgeous. And I am wearing underneath my very new thermal top that I got from M&S last weekend in Harrogate. And yeah, I love this blouse. I don't wear it much because it tends to sort of slip off my shoulders a bit and I'm forever sort of pulling it forward. And also, I've talked about this before, I'm always cold. So I bought this thermal top in Harrogate last weekend and I thought, you know what, I'm going to throw it on underneath my blouse and then I can wear some of these gorgeous blouses in winter without having to put cardies on over the top, and I feel really snuggly and cozy. So yeah, that's good. Thank you to all of you who have shown such love over the little backpack that I made last night. It's just gorgeous. A couple of people, well, somebody mentioned about putting some little chocolate coins in, which is a fantastic idea, and I'm definitely going to do that, which means I have to go shopping. But I think I'm going to be going to the gym tomorrow morning, so I'll nip into Home Bargains and not spend 50 quid, and hopefully they'll have some chocolate coins that I can pop in there for her, so that'll be good. This afternoon then, it's about 2 o'clock, and yeah, it's just been super busy because I didn't end up doing 7 miles because it was really hard. My run today was so tough, and I think a lot of that is because sorry, my printer's doing a weird thing. I think a lot of that is because obviously I'm going to the gym now and I'm running on tired limbs, and it's really hard. So I ended up doing 5.2. And then I immediately got back and took Piper out for a walk, and we took his ball. So we were throwing his ball. So I probably did another mile on top, just walking and playing with him. So anyway, it's fine. It doesn't matter. At least I got out there and I'm not feeling too disheartened about it. But I would have liked to have got to 7. But, you know, it is what it is. And yeah, this afternoon I've been thinking about the stocking. Let me grab it, because I've come up with a plan. So, stocking. I know you all love it, and I'm really grateful for all your positive comments about it. It's great. But yeah, this bit here is really bugging me, and a few people have come up with some brilliant ideas. But what I think I am going to do is I am going to cut out some felt snowflakes on my Cricut. I have never cut felt out on my Cricut before, so I don't know how this is going to go, but I have the time and the inclination, so I thought I'll just have a little play. So I've got my Cricut fabric mat out and I've put some red felt on, because how I thought I would stitch them on is rather than stitching it on my sewing machine, because obviously this is fully made now and I can't get in enough. I'd have to undo all the stitching inside. And what would concern me is that because this is Hessian, or burlap as you in the States call it, but it's a really loose weave. And when I stitched this, I shortened my stitch length. I'd already overlocked the edges of the Hessian, but I shortened my stitch length when I was using my straight stitch to stitch it together. But I also then went over the edges with a narrow zigzag stitch as well to really reinforce those edges. So unpicking all that would totally destroy it now, I think. So whatever I do, I'm going to have to hand sew it on. And so I thought, you know, if I make some red snowflakes, it gives a bit more of a 3D effect. So I'm doing a couple of different sizes and I'm going to cut them out on my Cricut and see how we get on. As I say, I've never cut fabric on my Cricut before, so this is a new thing for me, but we'll see how it works. And then I thought I will just hand sew them on with some embroidery thread and make it like 3D, and then hopefully that will just finish it off in this sort of area here, and then it's done. So, but otherwise I'm really happy with it. It's great, and Bronte loves it. So I'm going to do that first, and then yeah, I think I'm going to do the little tutorial for how to make the little star ornaments if you are wanting a last minute Christmas crafting idea. Yeah, we'll do that as well, because I'm up to date with all my jobs now, so I feel virtuous and I've got the okay to sit down and have a little have a little sewing afternoon, or a couple of hours. I've just had my protein shake in my gorgeous glass that I got from Tamlin yesterday. It's perfect for that, Tamlin, if you're watching, so thank you so much. Yeah, I might light my candle that I got today as well, and yeah, we will do some sewing. Are you ready? Oh, I thought I'd have to weed these, and you don't. Oh my word, this is incredible. Look at those. Oh, maybe that one's not very good, but this one's brilliant. I need to try and get this off now without breaking it, so I'm going to turn the camera off so that I can actually... Oh, hang on. They're a bit fragile, clearly, because that one's broken. Oh. Maybe I should have done one. I chose a design. That looked like it would be easier to weed, because I wasn't sort of convinced that it would cut it through. I thought it would. Maybe I should have chosen a different design. I've got to try and sew this on now. This is going to be interesting. Oh my word, it's really delicate. But that's quite good, isn't it? I know you can't see that very well, can you, because of the light, but I'm going to try and get this in place, glue it in place, and then stitch it. We'll see what it looks like. So, the felt didn't work. It basically just all fell apart when I was trying to stitch it on. So I've gone back to the drawing board, and I'm trying something else. I've used just some red cotton, but what I've done is I've sandwiched it with some fusible fleece in between, and I'm hoping this is going to work better. I've just done a couple, because what I thought I would do with this is basically just stitch sort of, you know, in a couple of places, and maybe put, I don't know, like a little button or something on, and leave it as a 3D effect. I might just go over the edges here with a red Sharpie, just so that it covers up the white, because that's the fusible fleece in between. I used heat and bond as well, and I'm hoping they're going to work better. I've used a different snowflake image, because I thought this would be a bit more robust, because I thought the thin ones, if I'm leaving it as a 3D type thing, it's not going to stand the test of time, should I say, if it was like the previous image, as much as I thought that was beautiful. So I've done a couple. Let's try this one, and we'll see if this is going to work better. This is what I'm going with, guys. So I've got these little sort of star buttons that I found in my stash, so I'm going to glue the center of these on and then stitch through the star, and then it'll leave it 3D. But I think the placement of that really works, and it's going to finish it off nicely. We're done, and I love it. I'm really happy now. So we've got these like 3D little snowflakes on, and I think that finishes it off so much better. Yeah, I'm super happy now. I know when I put it away last night, and thank you all so much for your wonderful comments and love over it, but I just felt it was just missing something. And yeah, I love the 3D effect of these flowers now. Flowers, they're not flowers, are they? They're supposed to be snowflakes, but anyway, yeah, I'm really happy with it now. I think it looks great, so super happy. So we're going to get on with the little tutorial now of the Christmas tree decorations. But before we do that, can I just ask anybody that uses a Cricut and has used felt, how do you get this off? Because when I started cutting the snowflakes out, I attached the fabric up here, but this now has got no sticky on it because it's had felt on. So is there any way you can get that off there to sort of keep the stickiness of it? Because what concerns me is if I want to cut something else out with felt, then this is just going to get ruined within sort of minutes, really. So Yeah, and it's the same with this one, I guess. I mean, that's just been fabric, but how it's cut it out, it's losing its stickiness. Is there any way you can sort of reinvigorate these mats? Does anybody know? Let me know. Carrie, who is Thread Therapy, I know she watches my channel. She's been watching some of my Vlogmases. If you're watching this one, Carrie, just message me and let me know, because I know you're a cricket queen, and you'll know everything about cricket. So yeah, it's the first time I've cut anything out of fabric, but I think what bothers me is the other mats for vinyl and paper and all that kind of stuff. It still has the grab of it, if that makes sense, after you've cut something out, but this appears to be losing it rapidly. Right, I'm going to get rid of this, and then I'm going to show you how to make these little star Christmas tree decks. So for this little tutorial, all you're going to need is your star template, which I will leave a link to down below. It's a free pattern, so yeah, just go and check it out. And then you need some string and you need your fabric choices. So you can use whatever fabric you want. I have got these out of my fat quarter stash, but yeah, whatever your colour theme is for making these little ornaments, go ahead and choose your fabric. And then this stuff, which is fusible fleece, or you can use stuffing. The pattern instructions actually tell you to use stuffing, but I'm just going to use fusible fleece for mine. I don't want to use stuffing, so I'm just going to use this stuff, which is bonded on one side, so you can just attach it to one of your fabric pieces with an iron, and then it will just make it a little bit padded, so it just elevates it up a notch. If you don't have either, then just make fabric stars. It doesn't have to be reinforced at all. You could just reinforce it with a little bit of interfacing instead. Next, you're going to be cutting out your template, your star template. So once you've printed off your star, you just need to print it off at actual size, so not to fit page or 100% or anything like that, just actual size. And this gives you a really nice decent sized star that's going to make it a bit easier for you to turn through. So we're going to be cutting out 2 pieces of our fabric using our star template. I'm using my rotary cutter for this, as you can see, but you know, use whatever cutting tools you prefer to use for this. You can, if you want, just use something like an erasable pen to draw around your template onto your fabric, so you've got the star directly drawn on, and then you can just cut it out using scissors if that's easier. But yeah, however you like to cut out, then yeah, I prefer a rotary cutter for myself. And then next up, what I'm doing here is I'm just going to embellish mine a little bit. So I've cut 3 stars out here, and I think sometimes when you're doing this kind of project, if you know you're going to be doing more, it's better to batch cut and batch sew. What I want to do is I want to do like a little sort of ribbon band across the centre of my star, just with this gingham, and I'm leaving the edges of it raw so that it frays a little bit, because I just think it's going to give that sort of, I don't know, that worn effect, that vintage effect, which is the look I'm going for here. I'm not using any measurements here, I'm just using my template to guide me on how big I want these pieces to be. All will become clear as we progress through this little tutorial about what I'm actually doing here, but you know, go wild with this and be creative. So you don't have to just do plain stars. If you want, you can embellish them with ribbons, with rickrack, with buttons, any other little bits and pieces, you know, that you want to do here. It's just, you know, it's a great little project for you to just use your imagination with. So I'm cutting out my fusible fleece here. I'm just doing one piece because I'm just going to attach it to the wrong side of one of the star pieces. As I said earlier, if you don't have this stuff, you can just use interfacing if you want, or if you want to stuff them and make little sort of proper padded stars, then absolutely go ahead and do that. Now what I'm doing next is I am just going to remove the seam allowance from the fusible fleece, and that's so that when this is sewn together, it's going to be easier to turn. It's going to be less bulky on those seams, because you want to really keep that nice star shape once you have sewn your star and turn it through. And if you don't remove the seam allowance from your fleece, it's going to make it really bulky and you're going to lose some of that lovely shape. So I have just traced around the fusible fleece by 1/4 of an inch, because that's our seam allowance for this project, and then I'm just removing that from the fleece. And then what I will do next is I will use this one fleece piece as a template for cutting out 2 more pieces of fleece to be able to create my 3 stars. So I've just taken the rest of the fusible fleece and I'm just cutting out 2 more pieces of fleece so that I've got enough for each of my 3 stars. So now you can see that I have just pressed on the fusible fleece to one of the fabric stars, and then what I'm going to do next is those little bands of gingham that I cut out earlier, I'm just going to temporarily use some fabric glue just to stick them in position. As I say, I've not finished the edges of these at all because I want to leave them raw and keep that sort of vintagey look. And all I'm going to do is just eyeball this and place them over the center of each of the stars on the right side. Next, I've decided that I'm just going to add on a little bit of string across the center just to finish this off. So I'm just measuring it with against my star, and I'm just cutting 3 pieces of string, 1 for each star. So to attach the string, I'm using a really narrow zigzag stitch with a stitch width of 1.2 and a stitch length of 3.5. I had a little practice go first and found that this just worked really well for just stitching that string in place. I haven't glued it down first. You know, I'm not bothered if this isn't straight, because if it's a little bit wonky, then that's just going to add to the charm. So we're just stitching this on the sewing machine, and then this is going to stitch the fabric down at the same time as well, that little fabric band, and keep that in place before we put our little star together. So once I've stitched that on, it's looking something like this. So you need to do that for all your stars if you're following along the same as me. And then what we're going to do now is we are going to attach the little loops that we will need to be able to hang these stars up. So these need to be about 7 inches long. So I'm just cutting these with my rotary cutter. Again, you don't have to be perfect, but 7 inches is actually a really good size. It means that, you know, you can hang it on a tree or you can hang it somewhere else around the house if you want to. So we're just going to loop these over, and then we're just going to pin these or clip them to the top of your star, and then we're going to baste these in place. We're back at the sewing machine and we're just going to stitch these in place at the very top of the star. It can be a little bit awkward stitching over string, and you know, because you're going over the pointy bit at the top of the star, but you know, do the best that you can with this. It's not, you know, it doesn't have to be perfect at the end of the day, but I'm repeating that with each of my 3 little stars. And then once we've done that, we are then ready to start pinning our little star ornaments together. So I'm using clips here because I just find it easier, but right sides together, attach your 2 star pieces all the way around. We're going to leave a little opening at the bottom of the star because we need to be able to turn it once we have sewn it, and then we're going to sew at 1/4 inch. Use your sewing machine in the needle down position because that will help you pivot at each corner and keep that really nice point to your points on your star, and then work your way around the star all the way around, making sure you leave a really good gap at the bottom. So we're getting to the bottom now of our star, and then we're just back tacking. I forgot to do that little corner there, so I'm just doing that now, and then I've left a gap there because that's going to enable us to turn. So what we need to do now is we actually need to reinforce the top where the hanging loop is by just going over that again with a couple of little stitches, and then you need to just clip off all the top of each of the points right down very close to the stitching that you have done, because this is going to give you a really nice point when you turn it through. And then we also need to cut into the sort of indents of the star as well from where you've sewn, but leave the one that you haven't sewn because that's where we're going to have to hand sew that once we've turned the star through. And I've just changed scissors here because it's really awkward and having to cut through those little side pieces there of the gingham that I used, just getting rid of that. But yeah, if you cut really close to your stitching, cut some little notches in there and just remove that bulk, it just means that you're going to keep the nice shape of your star when you turn it through. So now we need to turn it through, and you'll find that your hanging loop enables you to sort of pull it through to a degree to get that top point really nice and neat, but you might want to use a chopstick or a little turning tool, or you can just use your thumb, to be honest. I found with my other two that my thumb worked really well to just get these little points through. And then we're going to turn it all the way through, and you know, any loose threads, just snip those off as I've done there. Make sure you take your time with this because you don't want to you don't want to poke through all the way through your star points. But yeah, then what we're going to do is with that bottom edge, once you have folded it all through, we are going to hand stitch. So now it's time to close that little opening, so just fold in the seam allowance here and use some pins just to hold it in place while you get all those raw edges folded nice and neatly to the inside of your star. I found this a bit awkward because my fabric is quite fraying, so once you're happy with it, then you can hand stitch the bottom opening together just using a ladder stitch, and then once you've done that, you can give your little star a good press with the iron. So we're just going to stitch along there and then it's done. He's just got in from work.
I have, yes.
It's been a long day.
After a 13-hour shift.
Oh, love.
Piper, it's that time. He's laid in front of the fire. Right, 21st is it, I believe?
It is. The solstice. The winter solstice.
Is. The nights will start drawing out imperceptibly. And before you know where we are, we'll have those long hot summer nights. And what do we do?
We don't get many of them in the UK.
Where are we going? Where are we going? Come here. He slid there. Right. Paw. Good boy. Can I have that one? No, no, no. That one. 2 paws. Yes, I know.
He says you can have a kiss too, Dad, if you want.
Can I have touch? He says, no, I'll have that though. Good boy. You think that was some kind of performing animal? He says, I'm going to see what you've got, Dad. Right, number 21. 21. Oh, it's there, look. Yes, last night's after initial impressions of looking at the can was, oh, but it turned out nice. And tonight we've got passion fruit pale ale.
Lovely.
Shall we do it?
Crack on.
After 13 hours, I will.
Love.
I've had passion fruit pale ale before and they were quite nice.
Go on.
It's better than the cherry. Actually, it's all right. Try it. Right.
Not my fave.
No, but it's eminently drinkable.
Welcome home.
Hello.
We'll see you tomorrow.
Good night.